Hi everybody, Heather coming to you live from my dining room with tips, tricks, tools, and tactics for how to blow up your pretty on the outside life. And yes, my previous video referred to the Kim Jong in your head and the Kim Jong in your kitchen. Well, hopefully Kim Jong isn't gonna show up in my kitchen, and if he does, he's in for something, I'll tell you, because I've learned a lot. And one of the things I know is that you have to actually get your mind right to get around some of the exterior things that are going on. Do you hear that sound in the background? That music? Those are what's called binaural beats. And what they do is they actually go into your head and they help you. And how do they help you? Because you don't actually have to make yourself read a book or do something. You could just play them in the background. So I'm going to suggest a couple of other tools for you that you might not be using that's going to help you raise your vibration, calm yourself down, and I mean really calm yourself so that you can be here and you can experience things. And instead of being overclamped and reactive, you're going to have a basis of calm that maybe you haven't had before. So go on YouTube. Type in binaural, binaural beats, and then look for ones for calm, for emotional release, for whatever you think you need to listen to. You can listen to them in the background. You can put headphones on. You can do it in your car. Just try it out and see if it helps you. And you'll hear some really interesting music. You could hear drums. You could hear bird sounds, you could hear waterfalls, you could hear singing bowls, you could just hear really beautiful, super calm music. I like cello. I listen to a guy named the Montana cellist, Jesse Amon. He does really specific tones that resonate for me. And I mean resonate, as in they get into me and they reorient things and they stir things around, and whatever he's cooking inside of me, it's coming out tasting pretty good. So go look at the Montana cellist, Jesse Amon. He kicks ass! Okay, so here's another tip on music. One of the things is if you have your Kim Jong in your head and the Kim Jong in your kitchen or in your hallway or following you down the hall and saying, you. One of the things you've got going on is you think it is you, because somebody is saying it's you. And even if you say, but wait, what are you talking about? And if you're like, oh, if I could only be heard, if I could only be more loving, if I could only be this, if I could only be that, guess what? You can't, because they're not going to let you, because they're just going to keep going, you. And when you fight, they're going to do this thing called deflecting. And actually, when you fight, it's not even fighting. They're coming in for the kill, and they are, yes, eviscerating you. And it's not just they want to disembowel you, but they want you in like multiple pieces. And if you have children, the main issue is when this goes down, it's impacting your kid and you know it. So you keep your mouth shut and you do this thing that I call swallowing it down. And so stuff goes on and you actually stay in this funny state of not reacting in the way that everything inside of you is screaming. You wish you could yell back, but you know if you yell back, it's only going to get worse. So I'm speaking to people who have situations like that where you're keeping it cool, because if you don't keep it cool, it's going to get real, and it's going to get real in front of your kids or your kid or whoever, or your pet. And pets are really, really sensitive. And one thing that I know, especially now after I have this thing that I call a husband. It's not a husband, it's a husband. It's definitely a husband. My pet, my sweet, dear, sweet girl, puppy dog, she's super sound sensitive. And one of the reasons she's so sound sensitive is that she's heard a lot of yelling. And she was extremely attuned to me, and she really did like the husband as well. But she actually experienced a lot of yelling, and now when she hears loud sounds, she's all like, ugh. So this is just me saying, binaural beats, get yourself calm. I know you've been in situations where the Kim Jong in your head and your heart was running it, and now we just have to work on disinstalling it. So I don't want you to feel bad or guilty. I don't want you to dwell on the past. I want you to think about where you are right now. And here's 2 other tips. Listen to this song called Indestructible by Matisyahu. Matisyahu knows where it's at, okay? And you can go and you can do stuff like print out the lyrics, do a little cutty pasty deal, and actually have these printed matter, even though it kills some trees. If you actually have it and you can read it, you can carry it, you could fold it up and put it in the bottom of your purse. Just do it. Whatever makes you feel better, okay? Matisyahu, M-A-T-I-S-Y. Oh my gosh. I can't even spell. M-A-T. See, this is where my brain's a little wonky. I'm recovering from getting COVID last year, and I've had to take a year off in a way that I've never had to take a year off before. And my brain isn't exactly cranking. M-A-T-I-S-Y-A-H-U, Matisyahu. Give yourself a huge break. Meet yourself where you are. If you have big luggage under your eyes and you have to rest, there's usually a reason. So give yourself as much rest as you can. And one of the ways you can do that when you have a Kim Jong in your head and in your kitchen is to put the energy back into yourself, to know that you deserve it. And 2 of those ways are go outside and do a chore. Physically move your body. Put your headphones on when you're working outside. Change your state so that you're raising your vibration on the regular and with dedication to your training and your mission. And the mission is to get back to yourself, and the mission is to blow up your pretty on the outside life. So yes, move your body or rest your body alternately, and start taking your own needs seriously. And one of the things you might be doing is you might be putting a lot of energy and focus on people outside of you, because you're running a house, because you have a job, because you have pets, because you need to mow your damn lawn, okay? So give yourself a lot of credit. You're doing a lot. You got a lot of plates in the air. You're making it look easy, which is why your house is looking pretty good, and you have people over and you sit there at dinner and it's really nice, and you like to have people over because your personal Kim Jong is really nice to you when there's an audience. And one of the things that kept me very, very stuck was that I actually didn't realize he's so nice in public, and I wasn't making the connection. And then I started realizing he's way nicer when there are guests here. So if you wanted to have people over for dinner, or if Christmas was like gonna be at our house, I was all for it, because even if there was a lot of cleaning, it was gonna be nice, okay? So if you have some of that going on, I just want you to recognize that you haven't done anything to make it uneven. And you have not deserved some of the things that have been said to you when it's just you and him, or you and him and the dog, or she and you and whoever. Excuse me. I really am recovering from some serious bullshit. So this is just me saying, shore yourself up. I'm gonna go back to notes and music and paper and what it means. This is something you can hold in your hand. It is real. And some of the plays that have been run on you by the Kim Jong in your head and the one in the kitchen, or the one, can you do you? When you're having an argument, that can be extremely intimidating, especially if they're bigger than you and they posture and they impose themselves on you. I'm sorry for doing that, but you know what I mean. If you're getting a lot of this and somebody's yelling at you and you're just trying to put your opinion out there and be heard, you're focusing on, if only I could be heard, if only I could communicate. They're focusing on annihilate, obliterate, and eviscerate. And please don't think differently, because you won't be able to be heard, because they don't actually want to hear you. Different mindset. And so here's something else you can do. Yes, you make that choice. Every day we have a choice to live in love or fear. Okay? I choose love. I choose myself. You don't have to tip your Kim Jong off. But one way you can love yourself really well is you get hip to the fact that you even have a Kim Jong in your head, and you get dominion, sovereignty over your own mind, and you get your brain and your heart working together, because once those things are working, you are unstoppable, okay? The other thing you do is you get a P.O. box, not in the town that you live in, especially if it's a small town, or if you live in a city, just get it like a mailbox, etc. Not in your neighborhood where people know you and see you, because they might say, "Oh, I saw Heather. She was in the mailboxes, etc." And then your Kim Jong will be like, "What were you doing in the mailboxes, etc.?" And they'll start getting hip, especially if they're doing weird stuff and you need to actually have records or get books mailed to you so you could teach yourself things. One of the books that helped me a lot that I read, that I bought for myself using a credit card in my own name, and or you can go buy one of those credit cards at CVS and you put money on it and you could use that and it's 100% untrackable. Think about that. I read a book called The Sociopath Next Door. It was fascinating. It's written by a Harvard-trained psychologist. It's not written by me, okay? I did not write that book, but I did read it. And some of the stuff that I found out is a lot of sociopaths are around, and her theory and her math, which is kind of provy because she's all Harvard-y. Her math says that there's 1 in 25, and that oftentimes they're not violent. And my line for that is, they walk among us. So just know that there's a very good chance that your own Kim Jong that's going you might have some other stuff going on, and it ends with path or cyst. Path or cyst, okay? And the cyst it could end with starts with an N and has an cyst in the middle, okay? And I'm not saying, and I'm not diagnosing, I'm just saying that there's a couple words that I think are funny. Narce, farce, and arse. They all rhyme. You're dealing with them, okay? Every day you're dealing with a narce in a farce who's an arse. So you give yourself a lot of credit for being here. Get yourself a P.O. box, get yourself a credit card, or start taking money out. Like every time you go to the store, take 20 bucks here, take 20 bucks there. Put it somewhere, not in your house. If you have a car and you drive back and forth to work, figure out where you could put it in your car where nobody else will find it. For me, it was the Happy Feet 2 CD, because who was gonna look at that besides me, right? Who listens to the Happy Feet soundtrack? Me! Okay, so just figure out a way to start saving money, socking it away. 20 bucks here, 20 bucks there. Get a P.O. box. Have somebody close to you or you get a safety deposit box at a bank that you don't bank at. And if you live in a small town and your banks are all close together, don't get that safety deposit box in your small town. Get it one town over at a bank that you don't bank at, and or have your sister or somebody that's on your team who loves you, who won't have any problem with having the money drafted out of their account, have them get the box, have you be a second on the box. That way you have a place for all your important documents, which you are going to need when you blow shit up. Just do it. You know, it's worth it, because then you know you have a safe place for your stuff. You have access to it. And you're starting, and you're starting, and you're starting, and you're keeping going, and you're keeping going, and you're keeping going. And at the end of the day, you know this. Some of the programs running in your head you did not install. Okay, so you're aware of it. And not like your computer, you can't just press a button and disinstall those, but you can start taking yourself more seriously. And you can realize that the best way to get around some of this stuff that you know is going on, and you know that there's going to be some dire consequences, is to be smarter than the Kim Jong in your head and to be way smarter than the one in your kitchen, because he's going to underestimate you at every turn, or she. They're used to running you. They're used to you being not the lead sled dog, I assure you. You are like the last sled dog, okay? You are the sled dog the other sled dogs would eat. That's what you are to that Kim Jong. And he's sitting on the sled and he's yelling mush, okay? And you're the little tiny dog. You're actually the cutest one. You're the nicest sled dog. But you're the one that Kim Jong would choose to feed to the other dogs or himself. If he was really hungry and there was no other thing to eat, he would eat you. He will do it. He will barbecue you or eat you raw, and he will do it in court. And when it comes time to go to court, you better have used your P.O. box to get some mail at, such as books on high conflict divorces, on co-parenting with something that rhymes with narcissist, on divorcing something that rhymes with narcissist, and on outwitting the sociopath next door. So if you like this content and you think it could help you or somebody else, I would like you to seriously share this with somebody. It is safe only to the extent that you feel safe. So if you are not feeling safe, I want you to call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. I want you to talk to them. You could text them, and what you text them is START. You can also call a shelter or a woman's help place near you. It doesn't have to be in the town you're in. If you're in a small town and you feel weird about that because they might know who you are, even just by seeing your name, then go the next town over and go to a bigger town. Call their hotline. Buy yourself a track phone. I bought myself one for Mother's Day. It was $39, cash money. That's what I used. I bought it at a chain drugstore, not in the town where I live, one town over. Didn't run into anybody, walked out with a track phone. And suddenly, when I was out and about, I could make calls and I felt a lot freer and I felt a lot safer. So do what you gotta do, run it like an op, and if you like my content, please come back because I have more to say. And some of the things that I say might be like triggering. I didn't even know what a trigger was because I was so used to being run and I was so indoctrinated, and I had been born into a shine dimming reality. So I actually didn't know what was normal and what was not. I was used to operating to survive, but to look really nice and to go out to dinner and to laugh and to say all the right things and to cook good things and to even go on trips with my now husband. So I did a lot of things, but I was always waiting for that next shoe to drop. And believe me, the shoe did drop, but it didn't drop with witnesses, or if it did have witnesses present, the witness was our child. Oh yeah, that's my team. That's my team right there. That's second on my team. That's my second in command right there. Trust her with my life. Yes, I do. So anyway, just keep going, okay? And every day you do have a choice. You choose love, not fear, okay? And you keep going. And if it gets real, and if it's really real and really scary, and those things are going off, ding, 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 you call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. I don't care how much planning you've done or what you haven't done. You get yourself safe because it matters, okay? Love yourself. Love yourself a lot. Love yourself, baby! That's what I always say. And then, yes, if you're lucky enough to have pets, you love on those pets. You love on your children. And if shit is being said to your kids, you listen up. You gotta get out. You gotta get out. You don't stay, okay? But you plan and you plan and you do a little more planning, because it's gonna get real when you end up in divorce court. You cannot mediate with a narcissist, a narcissist, or a sociopath. And chances are there's a soupy little stew of those going on, okay? Okay, bye.